You're welcome back. Now, two of those described as politically exposed persons in a leaked Bank of Ghana report into the collapse of some banks are fighting back claims that UT Bank flouted the regulator's limit to give them huge loans. Ibrahim Mahama, brother of former President John Mahama, and Efutu MP Alexander Afenyomarkin, according to the document, took loans running into hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis under questionable circumstances. In the case of Ibrahim Mahama, for instance, the document says his company, Engineers and Planners, and its subsidiaries took loans totaling 300 million Ghana cedis from UT Bank, but made no effort to pay as at May 2016. In the case of the Efutu MP Alexander Afenyomarkin, as the main shareholder, Excel Courier and its subsidiaries took loans totaling over 30 million cedis without meeting the specific loan requirements. Here's a news desk report highlighting portions of the leaked report.
According to the audit report, in July 2014, the UT Bank engaged Messrs. Serengeti Capital Partners, SCP, to undertake a credit assessment of the bank's portfolio and assist its efforts to raise capital. The outcome of the company's assessment was as follows. It found frequent breaches of single obligor limits, continued lending despite exposed non-performance, heavier reliance on personal relationship instead of credit assessment, credit commitment not independent, and actual repayment history that was cumbersome to analyze. Another company intended investing in UT Bank but eventually backed out. Leapfrog Investment, a South African private equity group, expressed interest in investing in the UT Bank. With this in mind, Leapfrog in August 2014 undertook a due diligence investigation into the affairs of the UT Bank. A summary of their findings is as follows. Top 20 loans with a balance of 452 million Ghana cedis have a high legal risk of loss. No evidence of stamping had been seen with respect to mortgages. None of the mortgages had been registered with the company's registry or collateral registry. UT Bank's loan loss provisions, as assessed by Leapfrog, may have been understated by as much as 136 million cedis. Leapfrog therefore declined to invest in the bank. In May 2016, the Bank of Ghana, in communicating its approval of the liquidity support of 460 million Ghana cedis, among other things indicated its decision to appoint an advisor to the bank's board. It is important to know that no such advisor was ever appointed to the bank as of the date of the P&A transaction. A key ill transaction the bank is said to have been engaged in was the granting of loans beyond the limit accepted by the Bank of Ghana to several groups of companies and individuals the report describes as politically exposed. Here are the groups of companies and individuals the auditors say were given loans exceeding the acceptable limit. The Engineers and Planners Group, owned by Ibrahim Mahama, is captured in the report as having taken loans amounting to almost 300 million cedis. Here is the breakdown. Jota Cement, 131.5 million cedis. Holman Brothers, 61 million cedis. MBG Limited, 53.8 million cedis. And Engineers and Planners Limited, 14.8 million cedis. It says on May 12, 2016, the Banking Supervision Department of the Bank of Ghana sought approval to grant a waiver request for single obligor waiver made for debts in relation to Ibrahim Mahama. It says at an emergency board of directors meeting held on 20th May 2016, the board expressed great concern about Mr. Ibrahim Mahama's inability to meet his obligation to the bank. As at May 2016, his total exposure was approximately 302 million Ghana cedis, and that he'd made no effort to honor any of the assurances he gave when he met them on 29th March 2016. The board directed management to exert more pressure on him to fulfill his obligation and to invite him to meet the board before the end of 2016. The board requested a meeting should be arranged between the chairman, Mr. P.K. Amwabin, on the one hand, and President Mahama, Mr. Ibrahim Mahama, and Mrs. Munakote on the other hand, to discuss the way forward. There is no evidence of Mr. John Mahama ever meeting the bank to discuss the indebtedness of his brother. But the audit report says the board met with Mr. Adi Ayitevi, a representative of Mr. Ibrahim Mahama. Later that year, Mr. Ibrahim Mahama is said to have met with the board to discuss his indebtedness to the bank. Another person the auditors describe as politically exposed was Afenyo Makin, MP for Efutu, who the report says was giving loans beyond the single obligor limit. His companies, Excel Courier and Western Investment and Consultancy, were said to have been given loans totaling 30 million Ghana cedis. The report says the loan was significantly under-collateralized. Another group, Lucian, with 5 related companies, took a loan of 84 million cedis with no tangible collateral for these facilities. The principal shareholder, Quincy Sintima Waje, is said to have filed for personal bankruptcy in the U.S.
So that was details of a Bank of Ghana report there. But Mr. Afenyo Makin has been responding to these claims. He's released a statement on this, and I will read portions of that. He says, Excel Courier Ghana Limited and UT Financial Services entered into a collateral management business relationship as far back as December 20, 2004 in respect of bauxite operations at Awaso. The outstanding payment obligations due UT Logistics and not UT Bank is a little over 4.1 million Ghana cedis. The inability of Excel Courier to meet this outstanding obligation within the period was as a result of Ghana Bauxite's refusal to honor outstanding invoices in excess of US dollars $5.5 million under the guise of a so-called tax exemption from Ministry of Finance dated 1995, which exemption was never disclosed to Excel and had no parliamentary approval. The disturbing situation did not only affect the operations with UT Logistics, but other financial institutions Excel dealt with. Excel Courier vigorously pursued this matter at the High Court Commercial Division in 2014, whereupon a ruling was made to the effect that it was only Ghana Revenue Authority that had the capacity to pursue the said claims. Therefore, I, Alexander Kwamena Afenyo Makin, never executed any loan facility on behalf of Excel as a majority shareholder while holding office as a member of parliament. The description that my being politically exposed person was overlooked in the execution of a so-called 30 million loan facility can at best be imaginary. I was never the majority shareholder of Excel, neither am I currently a shareholder and a director of Excel Courier Ghana Limited. Any purported report by Bank of Ghana, the official liquidator, or any person, group of persons, legal entity, or an administrator appointed for the purpose of looking into the affairs of UT Bank, claiming that I have executed a 30 million loan with 1 million cedi collateral may in the least be misleading the public with an ulterior motive. Suffice to add that a letter in 2015 for a reconciliation of Excel Courier's account status never saw a conclusion, as the officer in charge, Mr. Charles Taby, had not made available a reliable information for his colleague who succeeded his office to proceed. And so those are extracts of a detail of a statement released by MP for Efutu, Alexander Afenyo Makin.